In the depths of the Appalachian Mountains lies the town of Blackwater, a place shrouded in perpetual twilight. It's as if the sun never rises, and the sky is perpetually painted in hues of deep indigo and ash. The townsfolk speak of an ancient curse, one that began when a man named Elias Blackwood vanished in 1850. His house, now a crumbling monolith on the edge of town, is said to be the source of the anomaly. People claim that if you stand in front of the shattered windows of Blackwood Manor, you'll see more than your reflection. You'll see them. Shadows that move independently, faces that aren't yours, eyes that follow you long after you've turned away. But it's not just your reflection. It's the reflections of those who came before. And they're not just watching, they're waiting. I didn't believe it, of course. I'm a skeptic, a journalist hunting for a story that could change my career. So, on a crisp September evening, I stepped into Blackwater, armed with nothing but a camera and a flashlight. The townsfolk warned me not to go near the manor, their voices trembling with a fear that made my skin crawl. But I laughed it off, attributing their superstitions to small-town paranoia. The manor loomed before me, its towering spires reaching toward the dark sky like skeletal fingers. The air around it felt heavy, as if the very atmosphere was a living, breathing entity that resented my presence. I approached the front door, my heart pounding, and pushed it open. The creak echoed through the empty halls, a sound so loud it made me wince. I wandered through the dusty, decaying rooms, my flashlight flickering. Every step I took seemed to echo 1,000 times over, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I wasn't alone. I found myself drawn to the grand ballroom, its chandelier hanging precariously from the ceiling, its crystals dulled by years of grime. And then I saw it, a shattered mirror, its frame ornate and golden, lying in pieces on the floor. Against my better judgment, I knelt down and picked up a shard. It was cold to the touch, colder than the autumn air. I held it up, half expecting to see my own reflection staring back. But I didn't. Instead, I saw a figure standing behind me. I spun around, but there was no one there. I turned back to the shard, and the figure was closer now, its features more defined. It wasn't human. Its face was elongated, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. I dropped the shard and stumbled backward, my breath catching in my throat. That's when the whisper started. Look again. Look again. Look again. The voice was everywhere, echoing off the walls, vibrating in my bones. I tried to run, but my feet felt rooted to the spot. Slowly, against my will, I turned back to the mirror. The shards had reassembled themselves, forming a perfect, unbroken surface. And in that surface, I saw a reflection that wasn't mine. It was Elias Blackwood. His eyes were black as coal, and they locked onto mine with an unspeakable malevolence. I tried to scream, but my voice was trapped in my throat. He reached out a hand, his fingers brushing against the glass. And then he stepped through. I didn't scream. I couldn't. I was paralyzed with fear, unable to move or speak as Blackwood's icy breath hit the back of my neck. The last thing I heard was the sound of my own name, whispered in a voice that wasn't my own. They found my camera the next morning, lying on the floor of the ballroom. The footage shows me entering the manor, my flashlight casting eerie shadows on the walls. It shows me finding the mirror, picking up the shard, and then nothing. The screen goes black, and when it flickers back to life, I'm standing in front of the mirror. My eyes are black, my skin pale, and my mouth stretched into a grotesque grin. I mouth a single word, run. And then the camera died. If you ever find yourself in Blackwater, don't look into the mirror, because once you see what's on the other side, it will see you too.